about climate risks and opportunities to companies or the financial service financial system in general. Then we delve into the corporate sustainability and climate disclosure. We'll talk about ESG reporting. Again, ESG is referring to environment, social, and government. And then we'll talk about the accounting and reporting, so the challenges and opportunities of climate disclosure. So climate risk and opportunities, there are two categories of climate risk. One is called transition risk, another one is physical risk. So physical risk is about the impact of natural disaster, impact of climate change on your operations. And transition risk is risk related to the transition to a lower carbon economy. So this is not like the direct impact of climate change. It's about indirect impact. For example, you are the business operating in a polluting industry, and there is suddenly a regulation saying that you must limit your pollution at a specific level, and this is transition risk, because this regulation is making to aim for net zero economy, and you as a polluting company has to align with this regulation, and this will impact your operation, and we call it transition risk. In terms of opportunities, this is about the efforts to mitigate and adapt to climate change. So if you do not do this mitigation and adaptation, for example, if you, as the polluting business, you do not align with the regulation requirement, you may face with a penalty, or you may lose your investors and customers. Instead, if you do the adjustments and mitigation before the regulation change, then you may attract these green awareness investors and customers compared to your competitors, right? So this is about the opportunities. So you can have resource efficiencies and cost savings, and adoption of low emission energy sources. You develop new products and services, access to new markets because you are acting more swiftly than your competitors, so you can access to new markets and you attract more customers, and building resilience along the supply chain. So here is a more detailed illustration. So here on your left is the risk, transition risk, physical risk. Transition risk is related to policy and legal requirement, technology development. Market here is more about the investors' attention, and reputation is your image and brand in the society. So if investors are more concerned about climate change, about the environment, and you do not improve your environmental performance, this will impact your reputation. On your right is about opportunities. So it's about resource efficiency, using different energy sources, provide more environmental friendly products, attract markets, attract investors, and make your operations more resilient to climate change. So both risks and opportunities can impact your financial performance. So they can impact your cash outflow and inflow. For example, if you invest in technology, you have to have cash outflow to, for example, buy some machines, etc. Right? So this is about cash outflow. Cash inflow, for example, you attract more environmental friendly investors. They invest in your product, and you have this cash inflow. And then this can impact your income statement by impact your revenues and expenditures, and impacts the balance sheet via asset liabilities, capital, and financing, right? Now let's go to the objectives of firm. So there are three main value optimization models. The first one, shareholder model, is about maximizing shareholder value. So the firms, if they have the optimization model that is shareholder model, then they only focus on the financial performance. So here, as you can see, the optimization function is only FV, financial value. For the stakeholder model, the firms optimize all stakeholder value rather than just shareholder value. For example, they also concerned about the satisfaction of their employees, the customers, and their suppliers. So all these current stakeholders. And the optimization function, the stakeholder value equal to financial value plus stakeholder value. Okay, and the last one, integrated model. This is more and more popular now because they combine financial, social, and ecological value in decision making. So this is about including not only the current stakeholder but also the welfare of the next generation. So that means if you have this pollution, it can impact the current stakeholder. It will also impact the next generation because this pollution may retain, for example, in the water, in the ground, right? So if you care about the next generation, you must do something to reduce emission and improve your environmental performance.
One question, so does that mean the integrated model is always the best model?
It's the choice of the firms. So there's no right or wrong here. So just like, sorry. So if we have two firms, one only care about shareholder, another one cares about integrated impact, then if we are talking about the financial performance, maybe the first firm only focus on shareholder value can have better financial performance because they do not have any investment in protecting the environment. But if we are talking about a more green awareness investor, this investor may prefer the second one because this investor concerned about the welfare of stakeholder and their next generation. So it depends. It depends on the firm's choice and depends on the overall public. Okay?
I also have a question. What is the differences between the stakeholder and the shareholder?
Yeah, the shareholder is the owner of the company. So if you buy the share of the company, you are the shareholder. And if the stock price increase and you sell the stock, then you have this capital gain, right? So this is shareholder. Stakeholder includes shareholder, but also other people. For example, in the business you have employees. So the employee is one part of stakeholder. You also have customer. You sell for example, you sell car to the customer. The customer is your stakeholder. No problem. Also, the general public is also the stakeholder. So for example, you are polluting a lot, then this pollution can impact the people around your facility, and they are also stakeholder. A government is stakeholder as well. So stakeholder is the people, the organizations that can be impacted by your operations. A shareholder is the one that buy your shares. Great. Any other questions? Okay, then we have another activity. Which of the following models best describe a sustainable firm? Shareholder model, stakeholder model, or integrated model?
C.
C. Very good. So we have agreed that integrated model is the best one that describes sustainable firms, because the integrated model concerns both the current and future stakeholders and balance their financial returns with social and environmental responsibility. Then how to measure the firm's performance? So here, the performance of firm can be measured through the rating, ESG rating. ESG rating is the rank of the firm in terms of their ESG performance, and there are many different agencies to provide this ESG rating. And they can help the financial system measure the impact of firm. So financial system including banks, insurance company, investment funds, etc. So when they make decisions, when they allocate capital, they can consider ESG reporting, ESG rating of the firms as one important factor. ESG can also help companies avoid claims of greenwashing. And greenwashing is a controversial and ethically questionable response to climate change. So here, this greenwashing is a link here. We can. Oh, I didn't connect to the internet. I tried today, but I can't connect to the internet. So there's a short video about greenwashing. If you click greenwashing here, it's about 4 minutes, so you can have a look on yourself, because I have no internet connection here. And here we have a picture. So can anyone tell us what this illustration showing us?
Portraying yourself better than you actually are?
Yes. Very brief and comprehensive explanation. So here we have, let's say this is a CEO of a company, and this is the media, social media, right? And this CEO is standing in front of a board with green trees and blue sky, but behind this board, there's a smokestack polluting and the trees are cut, right? So this illustration showing that the reality is not the same as what the CEO is trying to show the public. So this is called greenwashing. So this is the greenwashing is the act of providing the stakeholder, for example, the public or investors, with misleading information about the environmental impact of a company's products and operations. So this is about 2 factors. One is that there is negative environmental impact of your business operations. Secondly, there is misleading information. So you pollute, but you are telling the public that you are green. So this is called greenwashing. We combine these 2 factors. One is negative environmental performance. Another one is misleading information. So what you do is not, what you say is not consistent with what you do. And here I collect this figure from RepRisk. So here, RepRisk ESG data. This is one of the ESG data provider, and they find that the greenwashing is increasing, this kind of issue, and how they flag the greenwashing is that they find the firms with negative incidents on environmental footprint. That means the firms with negative environmental performance, plus the firms with misleading communication incidents. So if a firms at the same time have both these 2 kinds of issue, one is negative environmental performance, another one is misleading communication, then RepRisk data, this data set will flag this firm as greenwashing. And we can find this greenwashing issue is increasingly problematic in recent years. So apart from reference data set, like the last slide showed, there are another three important ESG rating data providers. One is MSCI, which provides indicator of corporate social performance, CSP, strength and corporate social performance concerns in each dimension. So this data provider, they have many dimensions for environment, social and government, and they based on the general performance of all the firms in different industries. They rank the firm and they identify whether this firm is performing good or not for this dimension, and if they are performing good, then this is their CSP strength. If not, then this is CSP weakness, or we call it concerns. And we can collect this data from WRDS MSCI dataset. So I include a link behind this. So if you click it, you will be directed to WRDS, and you find MSCI. You can download data for free because Kings have already subscribed it. Also for reference, it is from WRDS as well. And here the Sustainalytics, again WRDS, and Refinitiv. Let me just let you know how to download it. Maybe they will be useful for your dissertation if you take this kind of topic. So for Refinitiv, there's a link here as well. So this one, you need to download Refinitiv app on your laptop. Then you add it in your Excel, and you can use formula to find the data for different firms. So let's go back to the rating. The second one, Sustainalytics, is another ESG rating provider. It's a measure of ESG preparedness and performance, and is scored from 0 to 100. The higher the number, the better the performance. So the higher the number, the better the preparedness and the performance of firms. And Refinitiv also scored from 0 to 100. It's a measure of companies' relative ESG performance, commitment, and effectiveness across 10 main themes based on publicly available and auditable data. And the higher the score, the better the performance. So here, as you can see, we'll talk about four main ESG data provider. One is RepRisk ESG data, and this data is collected from the social media. So it's about the public attention, public attitude towards the firm with regard to ESG. So this is more about textual analysis. So the company RepRisk data provider, they collect this textual information from the news or website, etc. That investors or public are discussing about this firm, and they collect this ESG information from this test. And for these three data sets, they are more like the survey that data provider they do by themselves, or they look through the financial reporting or other sustainable reporting of the firm, and they rank the firm based on this information. So you can see they use different methodologies and different information to identify the ESG rating for the same firm, right? If a firm has the rating for provided by all these four data providers, you may find that the result is not consistent among these different providers. So this is quite problematic because there's no standardized measurement, and there are several papers. There is literature talking about this. So if there's no standardized measure, then how can we identify whether this firm is better or not, right? So this is a problem that should be addressed. Then this slide is about emission. So last slide is about ESG reporting, ESG rating, and here is more about the E perspective, and it's about emission. So we have these two main emission data. One is called CO2e emission. The smaller e here is equivalent, so it's not just CO2. You can also include other emission and convert it to this emission. So it's not simply about CO2 emission. And for this emission, there are three scopes. Scope 1 is direct emission, so the direct emission of firm doing their daily operations. And scope 2 is called indirect emissions from consumptions of purchased electricity, heat, or steam. So for example, if we now is a facility and we use this electricity, and this is called scope 2 emission for us. Scope 3 is other indirect emissions from the production of purchased materials, product use, waste disposal, outsourced activity. Scope 3 is about the emission from the supply chain. So for example, if we are operating an automobile company and we sell the car to our customer, and the emission of the car that the customer is used is our scope 3 emission. Okay, and so this is about scope 1, 2, 3. Scope 1 is the emission directly because of our own operations. Scope 2 is indirect emission from consumptions of these energies, and scope 3 is emission from your suppliers, customers, etc. Okay, and the data source, again, for these two, there I also include links, so you can go to the website by clicking it. So S&P Capital IQ is a data set website which Keynes has already subscribed, so you can use for free. And for this one, it is public available data, so you can just download. But for this and the previous data set, you have to first register for this website. For example, for S&P Capital IQ, you use your Keynes email address, and you can register. For WRDS, the same thing. And for this one, I don't think you need to register. I use this data set. I use RepRisk, CO2e, and toxic chemical releases, and for my PhD thesis. And toxic chemical releases is only the data for US. So for the previous data, they are global data, and for toxic chemical releases, it's only the data provided by United States, and its chemical release and pollution prevention activities reported by industrial and federal facilities. So the chemical releases includes water pollution, air pollution, and ground pollution, and the facilities, they are asked to report these three kinds of pollution each year to this toxic release inventory agency. And carbon credits is about the permits that allow the owner to emit a certain amount of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases. So for example, we are a polluting company, we are provided a certain amount of carbon credit each year, let's say 100, and each credit are associated with a specific amount of pollution. If we use all these 100 credits then it's fine. But if we need more, if we pollute more than we are permitted, then we need to buy. Okay? If we use less than 100 credit pollution, then we can sell the rest that we do not use. So there is a carbon credit market where you can sell and buy. So if you buy, that means your cost is increasing, right? You need to buy in the market, and you have this financing cost in order to polluting more. If you sell, then you have a gain. So this can push the companies to reduce their emission in the consideration of financing cost reduction, right? So there is the carbon credit market can be a mechanism that help companies to improve their environmental performance. Besides, the carbon credit is not fixed every year. So maybe you have 100 this year, you may have only 80 next year, because the government and regulation are changing, and the aim is to reduce emissions, so you do not have the same amount of credit each year. Actually, this amount is decreasing in order to improving the overall performance in the economy. And then the last part is in this part B is about climate accounting and reporting. So it's about the disclosure of your climate performance. And there are some challenges, also opportunities associated with reporting. For the challenges, the most important one is data availability. One thing is about the smaller companies, they may do not ask to disclose compared to the public listed companies. So for this kind of companies, because there's no requirement, it's quite difficult to access the polluting or environmental performance of these small firms. Also, the firms with complex supply chain, if we are talking about the scope CO2e equivalent data, we are talking about scope 1, scope 2, they are quite straightforward. But if we are talking about scope 3 data, it's about the emission of your supply chain, right? Value chain, right? So it's the pollution from your suppliers, the pollution, the suppliers when they make this raw material, what is the pollution associated with these operations, and the pollution of your customers. If your value chain is quite complex, then the calculation of these different paths, different participants can be quite difficult, right? So this is about data availability. Second one is what I just mentioned, the measurement methodology. Creating standardized methodology for quantifying and reporting climate data is a nuanced and complex task. So because there are so many different data providers, they use different information. So their information scope are not the same, and they also use different methodologies. This will make the result not consistent with each other, right? And thirdly, uncertainty and estimation. Estimating climate-related risks and opportunities involve making informed assumptions due to the long-term and uncertain nature of climate change. For example, if we are performing stress testing on what is the impact of this pollution on environment or on temperature increase, then we need to make assumptions. For example, we make assumption for the pollution level next year, pollution level second year, the third year, and we also need to address the uncertainty of the nature. So if we are talking about the impacts of natural disaster on operations, we have no idea what is the natural disaster severity in the future, right? We can only make some assumptions and do this scenario analysis, and this can be not that accurate and precise. And lastly is about the stakeholder expectations, because more and more people are concerned about climate change. The requirement of stakeholders can change every second, and this will make the climate-related disclosure more complex and difficult, because stakeholders are requiring more information to disclose. This year they may require this different 100 dimensions, that this 100 dimensions should be disclosed. Next year they ask for 100 more information to disclose. And what about opportunities? So if you are the firm and you are the firm disclose your climate change impact, your environmental performance, then compared to your competitors, you are more transparent, right? And investors prefer to have transparent firms to invest, because they think this more information can support their investment, can help them to know more about you. So this is one good thing if you disclose your environmental performance. Secondly, you can enhance your risk management. This is because when you disclose your environmental performance, you are pushed to know about your environmental impact, right? And this, in order to be attractive to investors, you cannot simply disclose how bad you are in terms of ESG. So this can encourage you to improve your risk management, environmental performance, and this can also increase the competitive advantage, because investors also investors prefer the environmental friendly firms, and if you are environmental friendly, this can be attractive to this kind of investor. And you are also encouraged to make adaptation and improve your innovation of your operations, and overall these are the opportunities for your operations and financial performance. Okay, so we finished part A and B. So again,